Crypto holders are staring down the barrel of a Bitcoin apocalypse right now, and it's got my heart pounding like a jackhammer. Fear levels are hitting historic levels right now as Bitcoin crashes deep below the 300 SMA on the daily. Yes, folks, unfortunately, we are very, very far below the 300 SMA on the daily right now, which is giving a major signal that it's time to batten down the hatches. Now, at first glance, it appears that Bitcoin is falling down into the abyss, dragging our portfolios with it. But wait a minute, hold it. Because in this video, we're ripping open the 2026 doomsday scenario for Bitcoin and a bright light at the end of this tunnel that I am seeing clear as day right now. Now, as highlighted earlier this week, the Federal Reserve is having emergency meetings. And a lot of people think they're trying to avoid a multi-trillion-dollar bubble from bursting. Are we on the verge of a total meltdown across all markets? Or are we setting up for the biggest comeback ever for crypto and the general S&P 500 after this recent correction? Smash that like button if you feel the blood flowing through your veins, the excitement of these markets going nuts right now, and make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are on the verge of massive exuberance and hope as the Federal Reserve is getting ready to end quantitative tightening on December 1st of 2025. This would unleash a massive wave of liquidity and it would outpace mere rate cuts by a mile as it ignites actual liquidity coming back into the economy, and a highlight of an easing into growth as highlighted by Ray Dalio. Ray Dalio is a visionary of what they call the big debt cycle, and a proactive emergency meeting with these banks and the Federal Reserve, essentially tackling their liquidity problems. The Federal Reserve's decision to halt quantitative tightening and kickstart investments, this is a signal that they're getting ready to actually open up liquidity to the overall business sector, what they call the business cycle. This is a massive shift from where we've been previously, where we've been draining constraints and empowering an expansion. The Federal Reserve's decision to halt quantitative tightening and expand reinvestment back into the economy marks a major shift in what we've been going through, even as Bitcoin hit new all-time highs at $126,000. Just take a look at this graph. The red line shows very, very clearly that the liquidity expansion has been very lackluster this entire time during the bull cycle of 2025. And now this green circled area in the end of quantitative tightening and directional pivoting to quantitative easing, marking a smart move of new liquidity this cycle. Dalio put it in his recent blog, Stimulus into a Bubble. This is where things are starting to get absolutely crazy, because what is going on right now, this is where things get absolutely nuts, because we never go into a bear market right as liquidity is about to rush back into the markets. And this gives me a hopeful twist to the outlook. Dalio is spotlighting that this time is actually quite different. They're fueling the economy and the growth into a thriving bubble rather than trying to make up for lost movements and a massively down economy, essentially digging it up from the despair. Now, with asset prices absolutely soaring in the light of more inflation coming down the line, the kicker here is all of the growth, for the most part, is concentrated in the Mag 7, the bigs of Wall Street, and Main Street is really not going to experience any sort of reprieve in the short term, unfortunately. This complex scenario that we're looking down the barrel of right now is paving the outlook for a disgusting melt to the upside, similar to the booms of 1999 and the 2010-2011 timeframes. You have to really focus in and look at the chart's red liquidity line climbing alongside the blue 100-day average, illustrating how expansionary phases essentially supercharge risk assets. These are the moments that propel us to inflection points far beyond 2020 and the shadows of the last bull market. We're heading into 2026 and we must look at all of the data available to understand where this market is truly headed to make the best choice for myself and my portfolio. And what I feel is the more likely of scenarios as we head into 2026 is this. This is a highlight from Tech Dev, talking about why this cycle is and feels so different, talking about the trunk up thesis. But really, I have a slight nuance and a little bit of different outlook of this. But what he's highlighting is essentially Bitcoin coming down and doing a vibe check at the previous highs right at about $70,000, this red line right here. Now we are experiencing that as this video is out right now. We just broke down to $89,000 last night. Now, the nuance that I find is that it might take us a little bit more time to dig ourselves out of this tranche, but this is a stair step up into the right type pattern that makes a hell of a lot more sense to me, seeing that now Bitcoin ETFs are in play, larger nation states are starting to actively buy. And if I was the US government, I would simply sit on the sidelines confiscating Bitcoin and wait for Bitcoin to come back to those previous all-time highs of 2020, coming back to those previous all-time highs of 2021 before I actively start buying Bitcoin for my reserves. And this is real simple stuff for me, folks. I really feel that we are headed back down in that regard. You know, if this turns around and the bull and the bear cycle is completely invalidated, fine. But as I sit, I'm holding altcoins into 2026 because I feel that they are very, very strong. Obviously holding my Bitcoin and trading along the general thesis that we are going to vibe check this previous range high. Now, if I were the US government, I'd wait for that pullback, not actively start buying Bitcoin until we get to those lows, and then start loading up like a madman. Now, currently the US government has about 330,000 Bitcoin, give or take. Somewhere in the mid 300,000s. There's a lot of Bitcoin still to buy if they want to hit that 1 million Bitcoin target. And on TechDev's chart here, I don't think that we're going to be so magnetized to the top end of this trend line. I actually feel like a slower grind up, a staircase up into the right is more likely. And honestly, that's what the chart has shown me over the course of this entire cycle run up. You run up, you come down, vibe check the previous high, and then move up to the next zone. Vibe check, up, come back down, big vibe check. And then I think that we can actually lay out something like this, where essentially we can do a dead cat bounce, maybe up to 106 if we're lucky, come back down, run into some love there, boom. All engines would be a go, in my opinion, for the US government to start adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets in this zone, and then begin the staircase up and to the right once again, essentially highlighting that this bull market is quite structurally different because we would only fall by roughly around 50 cents from this previous all-time high, right around 43%. So this is a structural difference to what we've seen from 70 to 80% pullbacks in Bitcoin. And I think the time frame that we spend in this low is going to be much shorter than a lot of people do expect, giving 2026 quite a bullish outlook if you have the conviction to hold into it. This isn't just a change in policy evolution. This is the rocket fuel that we need to see Bitcoin hit $1 million right around the time frame of 2030. I'm treating these massive pullbacks, and if we are lucky enough to see a 4-year cycle hold true and bring that price back down heavy, a buying opportunity for myself to keep adding Bitcoin before we hit that 2030 timeframe, because I feel like by then it's going to be well too late to get Bitcoin under $500,000. But let me know what you think in the comments. Are we going down and to the right only from here, or tis this but a scratch and we are going to look at a very prosperous 2026 moving forward with Bitcoin and crypto? Let me know what you think down in the comments, and I will see you on the next video. Take care.